call on our next speaker, Brother Peter Page. He's from the Ontario Network of Injured Workers.
I'd like to bring greetings from our President, Willie Noyles, the current president of Oniwig. He's at a day of mourning at this moment in St. Catharines in his city. And I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. I was injured in 1999. I have an RSI injury, repetitive strain. And I worked in the automotive industry in a non-union plant called Magna International. So when I put that claim in, like our sister from the SEIU, I was eventually kicked out of my job, and I went through the process of having to fight for my rights, and it took quite a number of years to get the compensation that I got. So as I reflect each year on the day of mourning, I'm reminded that nobody goes to work thinking they may lose their life. Yet tragically, each year in Ontario, some 100 workers are killed or die of a work-related illness. Some 200,000 workers are injured each year in Ontario. The Workplace Safety and Insurance Board likes to state that 92% of these workers return to work. But the other 8% who don't return to work or suffer a permanent impairment represent some 200,000 or 20,000 workers each year in Ontario that suffer permanent impairment and need compensation till age 65. The injured workers should receive full compensation, not half measures as stated over 100 years ago by Sir William Meredith, who founded the system. A system based on a simple premise, which is we, the worker, gave up our right to sue. In exchange, we would be compensated for any injuries suffered in the course of employment. This was called the Historic Compromise, which gave employers labor peace, not having to worry about a crippling lawsuit by being sued. As we move forward as activists fighting to ensure our workplaces are safe and that if injured you receive full compensation, no half measures, we need to address some of the issues facing workers in Ontario and across Canada. I would ask that the government ban temporary agencies, as they are just an easy way to download the compensation costs by big employers like Magna. They hire temp agency workers to come in and do 6 months of work, and then they send them away. And those that are injured don't get called back. Easy way, and the compensation claims don't get put on that company's ledger. Let's stop precarious work and give our young people jobs with hope and a promise of a future. And as we talk about higher living wages, let's end the practice the WSIB has of deeming workers disabled workers. When you get a permanent impairment and you receive a loss of earnings from the WSIB to support your family, the WSIB says, well, you know what? You have a bad back, but we think you can go out and work, and we're going to take at least the minimum wage off you. And the minimum wage, you know, we're fighting for a living wage, or the 15 in fairness. Well, the WSIB will use that increase to deem those injured workers. They should receive full compensation. Again, not half measures. Finally, I would like to invite you to our June 1st rally at Queen's Park. This is our 35th year that we've had this, fighting for the rights of injured workers in Ontario. This is going to be my 3rd annual bike ride. Last year we went from Windsor to Toronto to coincide with the June 1st activities. And we go into the communities and raise awareness about the rights of injured workers. My friend, fellow rider, Richard Udon, who lost his leg when he was 17, In 1963, he rides a recumbent bike with me and goes along this journey with me. I'd like to end with a poem. We have another injured worker speaking in Toronto, and she's doing a poem as well, so she kind of made me reflect and want to do one as well. Injured workers like to do a lot of poetry and singing because it helps alleviate a lot of the pain that they're suffering. And the poem is a reflection on all the bike rides. I went from Ottawa to Toronto, and we stopped at day of mourning monuments along the way. And we stopped at them when there was nobody around them, and they were standing there alone, a testament to the tragedies of workplace, but they stood there alone. So this is my poem. I hope you like it. I've seen so many monuments just standing all alone, but each one leaves within its wake broken dreams piled up like stones. For the worker is the one who pays the freight of so much greed. Each monument bears witness and testament to this deed. I've seen so many monuments, yet they do not stand alone. They stand there to remind us of the lives we might have known, and in their wake the children who have grown. I've seen so many monuments just standing all alone. Thank you.